Hello YouTube. Well, I bought Windows 8 Professional and I've had it installed on one machine now for quite a while. I'm planning to install it on two. I'm in the process of installing it on one other machine, and I plan to install it on my laptop as well. So my use of it has been, sort of a. I mean, it's been here and there, but it's been enough of a routine use of the operating system that I've been able to wrap my head around it pretty quickly. And this is from the perspective of using it as a desktop operating system as opposed to a tablet operating system. I don't have a tablet to use it on. So, what do I think of it? They got the performance very, very, very right with this release. The kernel is really tight. The performance is very snappy and very quick. It just runs way faster than Windows XP, Vista, or 7 ever did, which is really, I give Microsoft a lot of credit as far as that's concerned. They really got that down and got it right. There are a couple complaints I do have about Windows 8, though. The main one being obviously the interface. The interface is not that bad. I mean, for a guy like me who's an IT person who deals with, various desktop environments and Linux, uses different versions including antique and old versions of Windows, old versions of the Mac OS, and modern versions as well. I have to adapt myself to different interfaces depending on what I'm using. So I'm used to that. And getting used to Windows 8 really wasn't that much of a challenge. I didn't install Start 8 or any of those programs that give you a start menu back just to sort of test myself for a while. And really, I could get by just fine because most of the programs I used were desktop shortcuts anyway on the desktop. So I could just go there and double click and open something without really going into the modern UI, which was once called the Metro interface. So, my overall impression, at least in my perspective, I like it, but I think the interface is a little schizophrenic, the way they set it up, because everything is kind of all over the place. There's a lot of hidden stuff, which is not very good for your average Joe user. I mean, I can use Windows 8 just fine. I don't have any problem with it. I can navigate through it, and it runs extremely well. The speed, the performance boost is very, very positive, I must say that. But as far as the schizophrenic interface, that's not good for, like, your grandma, for example, who's coming from a Windows XP laptop she's had for, 8 years or something like that, coming to a new Windows 8 computer, not knowing really what the hell to do. For your average Joe user that's not technically inclined and isn't used to adapting to different interfaces on a daily basis, like someone like myself is, that's not great. It's not good. It's kind of a support nightmare in a way. For the same reason, I can see them not deploying this in in mass quantities in business. For the home user, maybe. I did get a chance to try out a Microsoft Surface, which runs Windows RT, which is essentially Windows 8 for ARM CPUs, and it makes a very large amount of sense on a touchscreen. It makes a big amount of sense, and it works great that way. It's very smooth and responsive and wonderful. On a desktop, it's a little bit hokey, shall I say. Like, for example, there was a game, I believe I actually showed it on my channel. I can't remember if I did or not, but there was a game called Sheep Shooter, I think, where you shoot sheep in the air, and that game is designed to be controlled with an accelerometer. Yet it was in the Windows 8 store, so naturally you install this on a desktop PC, you can't do anything with it. There's no way to control the game. So there's things like that I just think are a little bit sloppy. But for the most part, I actually like Windows 8. It's just at its core level. Ignoring the modern UI aspect of it, the operating system at its core is really, really nice. It's really quick, really snappy, really responsive. The only real complaint I have at the core level is that they got rid of floppy drive support, which, for someone like me who uses vintage machines and needs to use floppies sometimes, that's kind of a bummer, but really not a huge deal because, you can just use Windows XP or 7 to write a floppy disk without any issue. Hence why Windows 7 is staying on my main computer, although I can't put a floppy drive in here, so not exactly sure on the reasoning behind that. Anyway, so what do I think about the modern UI? Let me move on to that. Like I said before, it's very schizophrenic. Things are hidden. You can tell it was designed for touch, but you can navigate it pretty okay with a mouse and keyboard. It's not horrible. I mean, you have to be a little bit creative with your instincts sometimes, but I was able to figure it out, no problem really. But just through intuition, not through reading anything or anything like that. So it's not horrible, but like I said, for the average Joe user, I think it could be a bit of a nightmare. Like, for example, if you give this to your grandma, she'll be like, "Ah," you know. So, when I was on the train on my trip to New York, I saw a guy with a brand new Windows 8 laptop, and he was using it just fine. So I figure people that will buy new laptops will probably just deal with it if they happen to get it, or keep the computer they have, assuming it's a Windows 7 machine or something. So, there you have it. As far as Windows 8 goes, it's a positive performance improvement, but a negative interface improvement. But as long as you're just in the desktop all the time, it really doesn't matter all that much. Plus, there are programs that actually give you the start menu back. So, for my customers who who just bought a new laptop and they don't know how to use it, that's what I would do for them. I would install a program like that would bring back the familiar interface they were used to. As for myself, I don't really need it because I don't really use the start screen all that much, other than for actually using Metro apps. So, there you have it. What else can I say about Windows 8? Not much else. I mean, it's not exactly the demon operating system it's been made out to be. It's not a complete catastrophe like it's been said in the press and things like that. It's just kind of hokey. Really, that's my impression of it. It works just fine. It works great, actually. It's just kind of hokey. So, there you have it. It's a little bit more of a modern OS than Windows 7 was. It has cloud support out of the box for your Microsoft account. You can integrate Skype into your whole, username thing, because MSN's going away and Skype is basically replacing it. So that's what they're doing there. So overall, it's definitely a more modern feeling operating system, which is kind of nice. It's kind of fresh for me because I like exploring stuff. But then again, I like the weird and the wonderful. So maybe that's the reason I like Windows 8. But I've talked to other people that I know, and they've actually said that they like it too. I mean, other guys I know that are into IT, it's a very few amount of them. Most of the ones I know that are sort of diehard geeks, kind of shy away from it. But a couple people I know that are, big into IT really actually don't mind it all that much. So, which was a little bit surprising to me, considering the backlash it had before it was released. So, there you have it. It's really, guys, it's not as bad as it's made out to be. But if you don't like the hokey interface, I would suggest not getting it. If you can deal with the interface and you want a performance boost, Windows 8 is definitely a positive thing as far as that's concerned. And if you really want your start menu back, just download Start 8, pay the $5. If you want to get Windows 8, get that performance boost, get Windows NT 6.2 kernels, response and everything like that. So, in conclusion, it's not for everybody, but for those of us that are used to adapting to different environments, it's really not that bad to get used to. After you get used to it, it's not that bad at all, in my opinion. So, those are my thoughts on Windows 8. It obviously the claims of it being completely terrible, I think, were a little bit overzealous, but overall, I don't think it's going to be Microsoft's biggest success in the world, simply because of the interface. And the fact that they eliminated Windows Media Center from being included with Windows 8, you actually have to pay to get a separate version of it, which is ridiculous, I think. So, on my Media Center PC, I will definitely not be putting Windows 8 on there. they're just certain things in marketing strategy. Maybe not marketing strategies, but well, actually maybe with the media center thing. But eliminating features and then charging you for them, there are tactics like that I just think kind of stab the user in the back, and I don't like things like that. So it's more things like that I think will kind of bite Microsoft in the butt a little bit, and the fact that their interface that they're using, they're trying to use it across their phones and their tablets and their computers. They're trying to make a one-size-fits-all solution, and really that doesn't work when you have separate devices. The only one that I've seen that remotely comes close is the Unity interface with Ubuntu Linux, which honestly doesn't do that bad of a job of unifying, but still, it's a little bit hokey, just like Windows 8 is. So, those are my thoughts on Windows 8. I won't waffle on anymore. So, I just thought I'd share my opinion. What do you guys think of it? If any of you guys tried it out there, let me know what you think of it. And, rather than it sucks, I mean, like, real constructive thought as to, its success and what its flaws are and things like that. Definitely let me know. Other than that, there you go, guys. Have a good one, everybody. Ciao.